So we are live. What's up, Future Fighters? Zach here. We got a live stream event for you guys. This live stream event's going to have us talk about the regional qualifiers that have gone on recently. And I think that I can think of, there was Vancouver and Chicago. I see that there was another one in Singapore. So if we have time, we could probably just run through that if we wanted to. So to kick things off, I'm going to have, I guess to introduce our guests, first we have Jonathan Mindingham, who was a finalist, a third-place finalist with Danger World over at Chicago. And then we have a top 8 finalist, Brett Thompson, I believe your last name is, right?
Yeah, that's me. Hi.
Yeah. And I think he was piloting Dragon World, is that correct?
Yeah, it was like a Dragon World Omni, kind of last-minute Omni, put stuff in kind of thing.
Okay, so to start things off, we're going to have John talk about his regional event experience before jumping right into the top 8 profiles that Prodigal Games. Prodigal Games has kindly set up for us to look at.
Oh, well, can I first off by saying, like, I don't know why Bushiroad did a regional on Easter. Like, I feel that was a little just. It affected attendance. Like, I will not lie. Like, there definitely was like a lot of people who like kind of should have been there but weren't. You know what I mean? Like for our area and stuff. It was just really unique that they did it on Easter. Granted, I know they got like a busy schedule, but there are some gaps. So overall, the website says 65. We were told 60 participants. So, you know, compared to the fall, which was like 90 something, that is down. But again, I think that's still pretty good for being on Easter itself. The vendors were really good this time around. We had Cardfight Underground there. They did a wonderful job. I've been to several regionals from California to Atlanta, and no one ever has buddy fight singles, and they had singles. And like, we're not just talking like, oh, triple R's and double R's. They literally had foils. They had a good variety of things, and they also had swag. Like, so the major props for being probably the best vendor that we've ever had at an event, in my opinion. So, and then the event was really good. It was 6 rounds with the possibility of going to 7 rounds. And it was really unique in the respect of, I think everyone was banking on it was for sure 6 rounds. And I played, let's see here, the day began out, we were like sitting there kind of like deck testing and everything and trying to figure out, but I played Danger World formed around Grenadiers. And it was really, it wasn't like a last minute decision. I was really contemplating like it for like the last week or so to put to play, and ultimately I went with that. I really felt like the deck, people didn't know how to play against it, and that was what I think did a lot of favors for me in the long run. So first round I played against 100 Demons, a good friend of mine from locals. We go back and forth a lot. His 100 Demon deck was basically anything you do, you die. Draw, die, gauge, die, cast a spell, die. So our matches came down to the wire a lot, as basically like, okay, like I can't draw, I can draw, but I can't gauge. So like I literally was killing with Devil Gaz and going in and just burning him, which was ultimately the way I won that match. Second deck was against, or second match was against Dragon World, but it was Jackknife Drum build. It wasn't really 5th Omni. It wasn't really. It was. He said Gold Ritter was in his deck and stuff. I never really saw it. So I was really that entire time removing his soul. So granted, Devil Gaz again was doing a lot of work because I would attack and burn him, so that way I still was doing some form of damage and getting rid of his soul at the same time as well. Third matchup was my only loss in Switch, which was the Hero World. It was Campton Overlord with like transform. Like there was a variety of different transform units, so it was kind of like whatever he needed, he went into it. Felt like.
Was it the same Overlord deck in top 8 or a different one?
Yes, same guy. That's my only loss all day, was the same guy. Really, Renee, like he just all of our matches were so effing close. Like it just always was down to the wire. But Justin will be happy when I talk about top 8 because Negerfalls did work. But yeah, I was the only one I lost. It was the guy just. I think he had maybe the most knowledge of how to play around it. He always called things that could take care of my defense, and literally lifelink was my issue in those matches. Like, that was what killed me, was I would take the 3 lifelink, and then like I'd be down to like 2 life, and I couldn't get around that stuff. So fourth matchup was against Danger World, which was Armor Knights. It was against the guy who took 3rd last year at Chicago Regional with Armor Knights. It was Eric Hernandez. I just don't think Armor Knights again can hold up, could really hold up against Grenadez being out in like turn 2. Like, it was just they don't really have penetrate until they got enough in the soul, and by then all my whole field was set up with double attacking. Like, my weapon could double attack, Grenadez could double attack. I had the Armor Knight or Armor Knight Black Drake A out. Like, they were all doing their stuff, so they never really had soul. The weapon kind of did, but the weapon never bothered me. Like, I wasn't really caring about the weapon. So it was a good match. It was like 2-1 for me. So fifth was Dragon World. It was against Fifth Omni. This was Fifth Omni this time around, and I just recall the only way I won it was it was me 2-0. But my last card, literally the guy got me down to 1 card or killed Grenadez, so I took the lifelink, and I had 1 gauge. I drew a card. I had 1 card in hand. I gauged the other one, and I drew into the deity card that summons discard 1, draw, or summon a size 3. So I top decked my win. And I mean, like, it was a game 2, so like we could have went to game 3 very easily, but yeah, I top decked that win, and he goes, "Did you top deck that?" And I go, "Yeah." Like, that's the only time I Yu-Gi-Oh that stuff, like, right there.
Plus
like,
draws are good though.
yeah. Oh, I mean, like, he's just like, if you go to top deck either one of those, but it had to have been Grenadez, because like if he somehow, because it's Dragon World, like, or Shield World, like, I really needed the multiple attackers in the move to deal with it, and that's ultimately what won me at the whole thing, or that match. And then the final match was against Magic World, and the guy, he's in the group. His name is Belma, our resident drag queen in the group. Really awesome player. Like, he just, when he saw my deck, and he was like, "Oh, fudge!" Like, it's just the worst matchup for Asmodai. Like, so he put him out there, and Grenadez had penetrate because of Spiritos, and that's how basically I kept winning. Was he nothing could hit him because the deck were focused around small units, and then Asmodai was a sitting duck because I just literally would keep attacking and doing multiple attacks. So, and then in top 8, I guess it was like 4th overall in Swiss because my name was announced 4th. And then when top 8 happened, I was paired up against Nick Hoff, who played Dragon Knights. I don't really recall much. I didn't want to play him because he was X1 all day, and he was just whooping people's asses. But his deck couldn't deal with Grenadez. Like, it was just too powerful, and I think that's the thing. People just don't know how to deal with Grenadez in the long term, especially with Dragon Knights. I feel like a lot of stuff's so little that if you don't get a lot of them going off, and I run 7 counter attacks in my deck, so it really just took care of a lot of little stuff. So then top 4 again, we went in. I played Renee again, who was playing Hero World. We went to 3 matches, and Negrovalds came out, and Captain Overlord burned me. He shot me for 3, attacked me, shot me for 3. Negrovalds attacked me, shot me for 3. I was dead. It was the play to go. He even summoned the 1 drum that's like, oh, every time I destroy a monster, respawn, and drum's got like 6k attack. So I had to immediately get rid of that with Divine Crash, I think it was. And then Negrovalds came out. So, like, he had an answer no matter what for my deck. He sideboarded perfectly, and major props for him. And then at that point, they announced that Renee couldn't technically go. Like, he can't, I guess, his work blacklisted him. So then everyone who was remaining, no matter what, got their invite. But they're like, you still can play for 3rd and 4th, and the only thing that really changed was 3rd place got their name on the website. So I was like, yes, play. Like, I want to have my name in infamy. So I played against Mark Anthony Davis. He was playing Star Dragon World, and he was playing Big Bang, and he kept like blowing up my soul. But what I noticed, like the biggest thing with that matchup was he would put the spell null, the size 0, into his soul. And he would blow it. He would pay the cost for Omega and blow up like a soul for my guy, and not like I would then just counterattack. Like he didn't have any way to nullify my spell. Like he was playing the size 3 that when it attacks you pay gauge and blow up. That's the one I would have gotten rid of, and then kept the spell null because that was the better combo in the long run. But he always kept getting back like from the drop. He kept doing either Jackknife SD or he kept finding ways to bring out Jack. So it was just like I had to beat him down just as much as he had to beat my guy down because he just kept bringing him back and bringing him back and bringing him back. So. But that is my Chicago experience. That was my matchups and stuff. So very proud of the deck. Like I didn't really base it off of anything. I just kind of built it and kind of going again. Like I felt like it was more defensive, but it really had a lot of offensive because again, at one time I had a whole field of double attacking based things. So like 6 attacks in one turn. As you know, Justin, with Purgatory. Can be very deadly. So
yeah.
So right now we have your deck list up.
Yep.
So if you could run down your list for our viewers so that they can be aware of the cards that were in your deck, and you could probably talk about cards that were most clutch or in.
I gotta tell you right now, like Devil Gaz stole me games. Like that card. When I beat Nick Hoff the second matchup, like he was at 6 life. He had no shields in hand, attack for 2, burn, attack for 2, burn, and that's what won me the game. Like, he had no good way around it because, again, like, one card is doing 6 damage. I mean, you got to look at that as, yes, it might be the better of the 2 in some way, but it's easier to kill. Yes, it has 6 defense, but it only has to get 1 soul. So, like, when you're playing it, it has to be your last game card. And I noticed when I opened with him, because maybe I didn't get the setup to get out, the special summon my card really fast or anything like that. I noticed, like, if I started with him, I lost that matchup. Like, I didn't lose the match. I just lost that matchup. And so I try not to play him until the very end. Like, he was definitely my end game card. And, again, his stats are really good, and he essentially hits for 3. Like, so it was definitely the card that stole show. Like, it was just a really good card for that. Grandadez is what he is. Like, he was a wall. He was very good. Like, again, double attacking. You constantly are getting, I feel like, a lot of pressure and clearing. Like, I noticed, especially because the Hero World guy, I used him to clear the field a lot as much as I could. And really just basically just pick off things and allow my other stuff to kind of do the work. So, but overall, like people just don't know how to didn't know how to deal with him. They would try to multi-attack, and then I would just play counter-attack cards and remove their attackers, and the attacks wouldn't go through. It was he is a very strong, powerful card. Maybe not overall like a fantastic card because like I heard people like were talking about like Dungeon World and stuff, but again, I wasn't worried about the matchup until that point came. Like I was more like, okay, just get this guy out and just let him wreak havoc. And that's really what it was because people spent more time dealing with him than they were focused on anything else.
Yeah, because they gotta kill him 4 times. Right?
Yeah, I mean, essentially you have to kill him 4 times. Plus, that doesn't mean if you don't get like Dangerous Razy out, like or Spiritos. There's a lot of things out there that just can go in there now, and like it really makes him effective attacker for his power. And plus, Asmodai, like he gets rid of Asmodai. Like it doesn't matter if they counterattack. You pop a soul and you just go at it again. Like it was really good for what has been like a Magic World in my mind is a meta deck right now because there are hard answers, no real good answers sometimes for that card. So,
yeah.
Inverse second round.
Earlier too, the Spiritos just wrecked.
Oh yeah. And not only that, but like I mean, I'll get to it in a second, but like Armor Knight Black Drake, like he gets double attack and penetrate himself. So even if you link attack, like he's putting in the work that's needed to do certain aspects, clearing and stuff like that. So, but yeah, first or inverse second Omnilord, Lord Death Asmodai. I only ever got his effect off once. I generally sideboarded him out if I didn't need him. Like if I just felt like the matchup wasn't there, but like he is a very powerful attacker in his own right. So if I ever needed him, he was there. But it was I more so run him for the fact of like, oh, I didn't get what I need. I have 2 gauge, and maybe if they kill it, I mill into a Grenadez. Like who doesn't love a free, 3 size 3 double attacker plus 3 soul off of this guy? Like it's a really good combo.
It makes too much sense to not I feel like you have to play him with the deck because granted, Gedez gets a soul guard based off his ability, so why not?
And that's just it. The moment he enters the field, you get to put the 3 in there. Again, if they don't have an answer for it, it's getting to be on the field for free. I mean, yes, you take Lifelink from Asmodai, but it's not nearly as bad. And then Armor Knight, Black Drake A, like he was my surprise card. I feel like a lot of people again didn't expect him for a free gauge, regardless of what soul you have on the field. He gets penetrate, and he's an 8/25. Like it's pretty good. So there was one game where I didn't even get a Grenadez or a double Gaz out. I ran him and Cradle, and I was getting the double attacks and him and Spirit. Like I had a different setup, like so it does work in that respect as well.
Alright. Yeah,
And again, for
nice
gauge,
because Dragon automatically gets all this soul.
yeah. And then my tech, Emperor Dragon Gale Khan. This is for those annoying matchups with like a lot of little, like for the 5th Omnilords and 100 Demons it worked against. Like the first game I got him like on my second play. Like it was just like, oh, blow up your shit. Like, and that was all it was. Like I was really, he's kind of also in there for the Dungeon World matchup because like, yeah, maybe I can't go right into Grenadez, so I'll clear your field and get this big beefy 10-4-10 out there. And again, you drop Battle Spirit Unite on him or something like that. He's a wall. Like, yes, he doesn't have Soul Guard, but he does put in work for his own reasons. So, and again, you get him for a 2 gauge. You're supposed to get him for pay 2 gauge, you discard a card and you get him, rather than paying 2 gauge and putting 2 monsters into the drop. So.
Okay. So yeah, definitely, I did like seeing at least one of them just because, like you were saying, you could use that spell to get a size 3.
Yeah, and if they weren't playing small things, like if they didn't have a full field, obviously I didn't target them, and if they weren't playing a lot of little things and stuff like that, I didn't put them in the deck. Like I would sideboard them out, and he usually was one of my first targets again, so wasn't that bad. It was a fun card because I think it really stunned a few people. They're like, "What's that?" And I'm like, "Oh, well, your field's gone, and here you go." So, and then yeah, my 1 size 0 card, or my 4 of my size 0 was 8th Omni Dual Dragon Spiritos. So, just basically pay gauge, throw them in the soul of a dual dragon, and get penetrate. And like it really worked. It put in work a lot.
This guy could probably be the buddy of the deck too, just because no matter what, if you got Devil Gedez or regular Gedez, you could get him out pretty easily.
Most definitely. Like I there was one other dual dragon guy there. I can't remember the whole breakdown, but I remember someone telling me, "Oh, there's another dual dragon guy, and he's playing Grenadez base deck." I think this was his buddy, so I definitely easy to get out. So.
Sweet.
And then item or spells, battles or a circle, pretty basic. It's nullify attack as long as you don't have a monster in the center. The card that really, this card right here, just is worth every penny it was. Like it's the card I think people are most salty about. if I can say it like that. I just they're like, oh, you get this, half the cost kind of thing for free. You get this big guy for 3 really. So.
Yeah, this is pay 2 gauge, discard a card, get your 4 gauge get in if you want.
Yeah, like I mean, like my strategy for some of the stuff was like, oh, if people do pillar or fire me, I'm really hoping. Yes, I'll take like lifelink and all that, but like if I have 2 of them and I have enough gauge, like I'll just get another one out. You know what I mean? Like it's just like this. That was my philosophy. Was like, okay, just try to like keep those cards try to keep him in your hand, because if they do somehow get rid of it, like no brainer. Like I should have said that against the 100 Demons player. I didn't have a problem against the no brainer 100% because I had enough soul in my from Dangerous Razy and just from the on-call stuff and Spiritos to keep them on the field. But also, like in my sideboard, I put Battle Dragon Slayer Crush. Like I used that to get rid of like the guy who ran Cocytus. No, not that one. Sorry, the other one. Divine Crash. Yeah, that was it. So you put that on like Cocytus, the no-brainer, and then I would use this during the attack step to get rid of it. So.
All right, so let's see. Then we have, of course, probably a very important card for your deck.
Yep. My one thing, and even though I ran this at 4, I wish I saw this more. There were just games where I never saw it. There were games where I oversaw it, but like for the most part, I really wish I had him out sooner or faster, or like there was just a point in the game where like I was obviously in field control and I got it, and like it was just overkill. Like it wasn't. I just wish you could get him earlier. It felt like, and he puts in work. So. And then yes, this card is MVP. It obviously is it's the best version of now the 3/3 for dual dragons and counterattack. Like it saved me games. Like people again would attack my 5K defense, I'd go up to 8, and their thing's only at 6. No response, kill it. Like I love drawing into this card. I wouldn't gauge it ever. I would always keep it. And then Battle Spirit Unite, again, does exactly what it's supposed to. There was times I didn't even have a weapon equipped. I would still play this and get the counterattack.
For the turn, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, like, if they were even, like, remotely going after me, I would still just get the counterattack. And, like, most of the time, again, people just couldn't deal with it.
Pretty good.
Yep. Super Replenishment, this was definitely needed a lot of turns where if I couldn't get into my my Descent of the Deity, like I could summon Grenadez without issue. Like, and there were times where this card helped late game, or because they are so gauge heavy, like that allowed me to play Dangerous Razy, Spiritos. Like it allows me to really get all the effects off and still have plenty of gauge. That way I'm not sitting there going, oh, I can't play anything defensively. So. I took this card out now. I never really felt like I needed Undead Spirit ever. Like, I just never really. I think I used it once to bring back a Spiritos. That was it. I usually gauged that, got rid of it, sideboarded it. Shredding Battle Wall, I would run more of these, but the problem, like the reason I would say I run more of these was against like Shadow Dive decks, things like that. I never really saw too many of those. It was there to be there, and obviously I use it. But again, if you can have the Monster Center if they direct attack, you get the life or whatever. But it just was a card like it was like, oh, I didn't feel like I necessarily needed it at all times, but I was worried about like the Shadow Dive, them getting through things like that. Weapons, yeah, 3 Cradle.
Good card.
Pretty basic. Plus, it's a free card. Like I don't have to pay gauge, so like Battle Spirit Unite worked with it very nicely. Like I could always get 5,000 defense, 5,000 attack, whatever I needed. This card, I actually really would possibly going into 3 maybe. Just for the fact of the free gauge. Again, like maybe I use up all my gauge in this attack and hits, and like if I have Dangerous Razy, I know then I can get the free gauge, like the free soul. But in testing thought 2 was fine, but like throughout the entire time playing, I really wish maybe I had a third one. So
Yeah, the gauge is probably super nice.
yeah.
Storm Thrust.
Yeah, and this card, again, it was really good having it as a weapon because you pay a gauge, you pay your life, not overly bad, but when it destroys a monster, it gets double attack, and again, that effect is so good because it's 6,000 attacks, so you can take out the left and the right, very easily. So I would probably, in my mind, I would increase this to 3, increase the other one to 3, and take out the other weapon because I seldomly didn't use the other weapon. Yeah, this was for the little matchups again. Like it was effective against like Nick Hoff's deck, which was the little Dragon Knights. It was effective against a few other little things, but this didn't do much to me other than have the crit or Cradle.
All right, we got a question from our viewers here. Is there any thoughts about Starved Yamageto in your deck? Just because, every time a monster is destroyed, you need gauge for things like Dangerous Resi and whatever other spells, even opening the door up for more spells that cost gauge in my help.
In testing, I really like Danger or Starved Yamageto, but I felt it was too slow. Like I had to wait for, I would burn up all my gauge and then I would gain a gauge when they destroyed it. I prefer Super Replenishment, which gets me 3 right away, and I can start doing plays and kind of trapping them in. It just never really felt like it was a necessary. I don't know. It just didn't feel like it was needed, to have Starved Yamageto. And that's personal preference. I've said this before. I think Starved is great in a 100 Demon deck because they can do a lot more as far as punish your opponent, and when they do finally get rid of a monster, they keep their gauge, But for this deck, I had to go very quickly against my opponent to overwhelm them, so they didn't have options. Or literally, I remember 3 or 4 games where people are dumping their whole hands, they're just dumping their hands to deal with the problems, and then they were even more screwed because they couldn't deal with the 3 double attacking things on the field.
Yeah, especially with that double attacking weapon or whatever, that'd be pretty annoying.
Yeah, and that's just it. People were not playing, they were guarding their monsters, even more so than. It was just weird. I think it really caused people to play not differently, defensively in a weird way. So.
Sweet. So it sounds like your trip out to Chicago is pretty productive and fun.
Yeah, overall, I went in, began the day playtesting against Jason, and he was playing. Again, he made top 8 with Ancient World, and he was wrecking me every step of the way. I think I won 1 game is because he didn't get out the main Raging Spirit card, and so I went into the day going, oh God, I'm going to O2 and drop and just go play Free Flight, and ended being complete opposite, where I only lost to the same guy twice all day, and it was really unique because the decks that I did play, I think, were all very good different decks, and I played Dragon World, but I played it different variants and things like that, so it was nice to see the change or the change up from people as well.
All right, so that's our summary of the Chicago event. For the next event, we have Brett here to talk about the Vancouver event, to let us know the deck that he was playing, the people that showed up, and anything he wants to talk about, actually. So I'll let him take it away.
Okay, thank you. So the event went very well. Sadly, there was only about 33 people that they said, and there was a lot more for Weiss Schwartz, but yeah. So first round, I went against Darkness Dragon World, and it was a really close game. The only reason I lost against in the first round was because he played Burn Nova, and I was because if you see my deck, I used Giga Howling Crusher, and I did that to him, and he was okay, game over. And he's nope, Burn Nova, and then just crushed me from there. And that's pretty much how I lost the first match, and I kept going. The second round, I won pretty easily. It was also Darkness Dragon World, so it was more Death Gaze Dragon deck. And third round was basically a Cottonelle World deck, but it was mostly just from this trial deck. So it wasn't the hardest to win, but I basically used double Grandes and just crushed them. And yeah. And then fourth match, it was against this guy named Shane, and he was using Osmodai Magic World deck. And it was just like little guys where they attack, and then they just switch in for another one in the graveyard. And I won that. And then for my fifth round, there was only I'll tell you, there was supposed to be 6 rounds. They decreased it to 5, like last minute, right before the last round. And then for my fifth match, I went against this guy named Jay, and he was using a Danger World. It was basically Danger's Cradle with some other cards, and I won against that. And then it was top 8. It was this guy named James, and he was using Dragon Eye. Now, it was super close, but I found out late, or I remembered way too late after the tournament left, but I found out that he was actually using this card called Investigator,
the
Fervent Investigator Decker Drum, which is only a superhero, and it's been errata since like a year or two ago when it came out. So he used that, which he wasn't allowed to, so he got disqualified in the top 3, I think. He was in top 4, for being third place. And that was basically it for that.
Okay. So we have your deck profile here up on the screen if you want to take a run through and
yeah, I got it here.
for everybody.
Yep. So the buddy, or it was Dragon World deck. The buddy was Call to Matre Dragon, which is the gold dragon from Golden Buddy Pack for 1 life. And yeah, so he's my buddy. And so starting with the size zeros, it was first one was 7th Omni Earthward Count Dawn, 1 inverse 7th Omni Earthward Twilight Count.
So the inverse.
And I should probably discuss this. So the 7th Omni Earthward Count Dawn, I completely forgot to bring it back every single time. But the inverse 7th Omni Earthward Twilight count did some work for me because I was using Lord's Dragon Shield, which is the one where it's a damage you for 1, and then that was a good combo, was just to mill them or take them down 1 point and gain 1. So it's a free shield, in other words. And then going to size 1s, 5th Omni Dragon Lord Tenbu SD. That was a very good card for most matchups, because either they had a little guy you can just crush, or there was the Cottonelle World player. He had the Explode card, where if you play a size the same size as that one that's in the soul, then he would just bomb your guy and then deal 2 damage to you.
Hades Fall.
Yeah, Hades Fall. Yeah, that's it. And I just took it away before he could use it. And he was also using Secret Sword, like the Secret Swords.
Yeah, that'd be pretty mean.
And I just took those out too. So. And then next size 1, 5th Omni Cavalry Dragon Fire Sword Double. Very good, gauge, especially when I needed it. And because this thing has 5,000 power, I fought against an Osmodai deck which had the 2nd Omni Second Omni Demon Ward Osmodai. I got to crush a lot of stuff against him because his guys just had no defense, and the 10,000 didn't really help. So, and then the next card was 5th Omni Armored Dragon Mountain Crush Gone. I didn't really use it a lot, but I should have. And I only have 1, so I just got like last minute before the tournament, like 2 days before I left for it. And then next is size 2's 5th Omni Dragon Lord Drum. There's 2 of those. And yeah, it really helped when I was going into the guy in top 8. He had Ozzy the Hawk out, and all he did was attack everything. I used Lord's Dragon Shield and then just killed Ozzy the Hawk. Sadly, the sword came out, But and I deal with that. But it was pretty good game. And then next is Crimson Battler Drum Bunker Dragon. He didn't really have to use his penetrate ability except for against the Cardinal World player because everyone else kind of already knows the Crimson Battler version already knows what he does and everything. And then next is a Drum Bunker Dragon. And he was pretty useful. He basically just Crimson Battler but still 3 crit. Then there's the buddy Marde Dragon for 4 of those.
So did you just like running this guy because he's 4 crit?
Yeah, because as soon as I actually got the card in a box, which was last year, like last September, the Giga Howling Crusher, I was like, ultimate combo. But it was funny because I was like the first person, even on before YouTube, that probably figured that out. So I decided to use that as a combo because all the drums and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So the next card is 5th Omni Dragon Lord Crimson Drum. And he really wasn't useful at all, except for the last match against the Dragon Island, because he kept trying to attack me with his cards, and they just redirect it. And then next, in the final size 2, is Inverse 3rd Omni Waterlord Dark Mysteria. Very good card, I have to say. All I have to do is, like, he would attack on his first round. I don't think I ever got going first any times except for unless I lost or something. So I pretty much all the time I would just use the shield and then play Dark Mysteria first turn with an item and then just start swinging. And then the life gain was so useful and everything. So then it's into size 3s. First one is Inverse 8th Omni Deity Lord Devil Gandez. And that card I really liked because there's the second game against the Cardinal World player. He had all low attack and defense cards. So all he did, he kept trying to attack, and I was like, okay. So I drew Charge and Draw and got Emblem of the Omnilords, and I played that, and I had enough gauge to play Devil Gandez. So I just started wailing on him with that and easily won. And then next is Inverse 2nd Omni Demon Lord Death Osmodite. Very good because, like you guys already discussed, that as soon as it dies, it's 2 life link, but you get the top 3 cards. I didn't ever get Devil Gandez, but I did get some pretty good cards out of it whenever it died. Sweet. Next is the Impact. Oh, sorry.
Sweet. Giga Howling Crusher.
Yeah, Dragon Lord Initiation Giga Howling Crusher. Very fun card to use, especially on the first turn. There's actually probably 4 games out of all the matches of the day that I actually got first turn win, or second turn win, I mean, with the buddy College Dragon and then Giga Howling Crusher with an item, either Dragon Knuckle or Dragon Burst. And the limits are just endless with this sort of fun. And it's just so much fun to use. And so then we go to the items. So there's 4 Steel Fist Dragon Knuckle. These were incredibly hard to get. The first one I got was from a box, or from some packs I got from Victoria, and I literally had to trade 15 of these golems to this guy online for 3 Steel Fist Dragon Knuckles. And then there's Dragon Knuckle is so much fun because the problem with the deck is the first turn or even second turn. Second turn can be really difficult because most drums or all the drums in my deck cost at least 1 or more gauge, and usually it's the 1 gauge I have problems with because Dragon Knuckle has to hit them to get the gauge back for Giga Howling Crusher. So yeah. And then next is just the same. It's basically just Dragon Knuckle, but 5,000 powers. Blazing Dragon Fist, Drago Burst.
So no gauge for this one, so.
Yeah. Well, there's very little gauge actually. Not before I made this list, like last minute list. There was literally probably like 16 cards that actually took gauge. Everything else was all free or life. So it wasn't polished until I had to work on the night before. And so spells, Blue Dragon Shield, 3 of. Sadly, I didn't have a 4th for the tournament. And that's just a really good card, especially second turn or third turn, Blue Dragon Shield. And then Green Dragon Shield, 4 of. That's another good card. Lord's Dragon Shield's good. There's 2 emblem, the Omni Lords, and that was pretty fun to use. I didn't get to use it a lot because the gauge it took to get it, but when it did, it really helped. But anyway, so the next thing on the sideboard, 1 5th Omni Dragon Lord Drum the Punisher.
Oh, this is the promo you got from the Spring Fest.
Yeah, I last minute I decided to put it in because I just wanted to have the instant kill of items.
Yeah, he's good.
And I never got to use them, sadly, but there was only like one time, and it was either do that or do the Giga Hound Crusher and win. But like I didn't have any defense cards, so I just won that way. Anyway, so the next card is 1 Earth Omni Deity Lord Grandez, and that was pretty good. Never used them though, sadly. Never got to use them. 2 Iron Chain Dragon, which was only useful against Osmodai because he was using the 10,000 defense, 50,000 attack Osmodai. And I chained him twice and just started wailing on him. And then next is 5th Omni Dragon Fist Ablaze. Never used it. Never even got the chance to use it. 2 Barbed Wire, which is self-explanatory for against items and everything. 5th Omni Cavalry Dragon Windbow Malix, which I never used.
Kills the size ones if you take damage.
Well, the only thing was I was scared of, like last year when I was playing Dragon 9, I so hated the Osmoi deck that I was thinking, because there's Someone's Great Barrier, which makes everything 1 instead of 2. So that's really why I wanted to put it in the sideboard, just in case if I fought that deck again, which I never did, but yeah. And then last of the sideboard is 5th Omni Dragonlord Tembu. Now, I have made some changes to the deck just because I don't know, I just wanted to change the deck a little bit and see if it works next time. So the changes I made were, let's see. I took out Crimson Drum, Crimson Drum, the 5th Omni Dragonlord, Crimson Drum, and I put in Crazed Tembu, inverse 5th Omni Dragonlord, Crazed Tembu.
He's pretty solid.
Yeah, I didn't have one when I did the turn, but if I would have, I would have had him in the deck. Anyway, and the other card I took out 1 Emblem of Omni Lords and put in 1 my 4th Blue Dragon Shield that I just got after the event for trades. So yeah.
Easy tweaks, right?
Yeah.
All right, so so I guess overall, did you have fun at the event?
Oh, it was so much fun, yeah. And like I said, I lost first round, and I was like, okay, not going to make it top 8. But I decided to play the rest of the day, won the next 4 matches, and got top 8. So all I can say is I'm glad that most people decide to keep playing because it's either just fun or you might get in the top 8 if you think, or can. So.
All right, cool. I guess the quick rundown for your guys' events. I guess Star Dragon World took first. Dragon World got second, and Hero World got third. So it's a quick tonight. And for Chicago, your guys' it was Omnimodi, then the Hero World with the Overlord player, and then John, and then who was the 4th place?
In Chicago, Chicago was Star Dragon World.
Okay.
So a lot of similar toppings almost. So.
Yeah, seems pretty. You hear Star Dragon World, I think, is getting more and more lethal, just because the more cross sizes that do stuff, the more annoying they get.
Well, I mean, in the still null, I can't even like stress like how good of a card that is, and like why it like that's why I was so confused by his actions like when playing, because I'm like, that card is the one I would have kept in the soul at all times because it just does something so good. Like, oh, you're gonna attack and you're gonna nullify nullify my attack. Nope. So that's how I viewed it as.
Sweet. All right. Do you guys have anything else that you guys want to really talk about? Because I guess the plan for today was to just kind of go over these regional events where we gotten some good perspectives from both of our guests tonight.
Thank you.
I know Bran here is our resident Danger World expert, so if he has any insights, because I don't know if I've seen you play a Grand Gadez deck yet, Bran.
No, I was going to, but then I got lazy and didn't build it.
At least you have somewhere to start from now.
Yeah, my only thing is, why didn't you run Little Drake Ace? Or not Ace, Little Drake.
Honestly, didn't feel like I really needed it with raising. Like, it just to me like wasn't like a whole lot of necessarily like it never really felt like in testing, like even when I played Demon Goldel, like I like Demon Goldel in that because it puts back in Origin, but like it didn't really feel like I needed it with Grenadez. With Grenadez, sorry. And that was the only thing. I mean, like again, that's personal preference. Just I mean, having gone and done what I did, like I never like felt like I didn't have soul or ways to get soul, and there was nothing in the drop I felt like, oh, I need to put in here. So like I just felt like that was the premise of that. Like I would have actually liked to have had Armor Drake for Cradle over Grenadez.
Yeah.
Like and again like the weapon situation, like there were games where like all I did was draw weapons, and then there were other games where it was like maybe I had one, and like now like looking at it, I really, like I said, want to increase the double attacking weapon to 3 and the spear to 3 as well, and just remove the crit guy, because ultimately people feared the weapon. As soon as it got like a third crit on it, people feared they're like, oh my god, like I have to like like they're guarding it, like, and it was just like again like overwhelming my opponent to degrees that I just don't think they really knew how to deal with so much. So
Yeah.
so that was it. Like I don't know. I think I've seen people play it. Like I said, I played in my Grenadez or my Demon Goldel deck. I just didn't care for it in my Grenadez deck.
Yeah, I probably would have tried it at this point, but Zach likes to play no-brainer and everything.
Yeah, like I don't know, like you know what? Like if I focused on Delgaz, I probably would have ran Armor Little bit, so I could constantly put more soul into him, because he was so good. Again, just putting him in the middle, and constantly keeping him like going was a huge problem. Like, whereas at least the move from Grenadez was okay, but like Devilgaz really needed more love, and I couldn't give it to him.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I don't think there's anything else.
Yeah, I don't know either. So, I mean, what are the upcoming events?
I don't actually know. Is there one this weekend?
It should have been Chicago. I should have waited a week.
The upcoming one is Mexico, April the 9th.
Mexico.
After that, Canada is April the 23rd.
So, April 23rd in Toronto, and then a week or two.
Yeah, so
Hopefully we'll
so there's not one this weekend, there's one next weekend.
Yeah, the 9th
Yeah,
and 10th is in Mexico.
Yeah, so we could do next week, just going over the set. We got all the sets.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess we could finish going over it. I can't remember what cards we did. I think we didn't do many.
I think we did most of the higher end rarity cards.
Yeah, just not the Magic World stuff, because I don't think a lot of it was released, right?
Yeah.
And I know that Justin has an event, but you have your own buddy fight day going on in April, right?
Oh, yeah. Buddy Fight Day is April the 23rd. my calendar. So come out for a day buddy fight. It'll be $5 events, $10 events, and free events. Yes, free events. You can win prizes. More raffles as always. Just start gaming.
All right, so I'll definitely. I don't know if it's causing all the echo.
I don't know. It's kind of annoying now.
Yeah. Alright, but look forward to Justin's event, Buddy Fight Day. I'll leave a link to his Facebook page. I think he's finally got a website now, or is that not live yet? For Superstars.
It's up. I don't think it's live yet. I've seen it. I have a link to it, but I don't know if it's up for everybody else.
Anyway, the Facebook's good. The Superstar Card Gaming for Buddy Fight Day, where I will hopefully be in attendance for Justin's store, because I don't think we have anything better going on that day either. Hopefully more people can come out to support the game. I mean, for us people in Maryland, we're trying to get more people into the game. And that's why we're having these Buddy Fight Days to begin with. So hopefully other people in their locals are also encouraged to set up their own Buddy Fight Days. Feel free to advertise it on our Facebook group. We will definitely help you endorse it if you guys are interested in setting up Buddy Fight Days. The trick is really just talking to the shop owners and then just convincing them to give you space for the day and maybe let you guys play, try and set up the store so you can get product maybe.
It's also very easy to get someone into the game now because of the start decks and all the reprints in the set. Like all the main shields for each of the worlds was reprinted. Magical Goodbye was reprinted. There's a whole bunch of other reprints that make it a lot easier to get into the game.
So if you're trying to get into the game right now, it's the perfect time to do so, just because you're not going to be set back a whole lot by not having access to a lot of the old cards, because the new cards are just as good or reprinted.
Yeah.
Alright guys, I don't want to make the stream drag on too much longer. Any closing remarks?
I just noticed that this dark D guy, he asked in my deck like why there wasn't any like draw, and honestly like because like I didn't use all my resources always at one time. You know, like once you got Grenadiers out, he did most of the work and things like that. So I don't really feel like draw was entirely needed. I mean, always draw is good, but it wasn't a huge issue, I felt.
Any other comments from you guys, or are we good to go?
I have a question. Do you think I should have used like a Dragonic Grimoire in the deck since I was at less than 5 pretty much all the time?
I think that would be good. I know Juan plays like 2 or 3 of them in his deck just because it's like ultimate top deck mode.
Yeah.
Just because
It's a very good top deck card.
Yeah, it's like when you're
Like 3. I'm sorry.
Yeah, 5th Omnis by definition take damage to have their abilities go off. So I mean, if you're trying to build around the 5th Omnis, hang the life for all of your weapons, in fact, it's probably a little bit useful, especially if you don't draw into your impact right away. And you're trying to draw into it, you could probably play a couple of them in your deck pretty easily.
I have a friend from Philly that actually only uses one, and then he uses one of the new ones. And his reason for doing so was if you draw into the new one that lets you gauge and then draw 2, it's like you can play both in the same turn if you're just top decking.
Yeah, that's actually real.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. That's stupid. I'm mad now. I didn't even think about it that way. Learning stuff every day on the Future Fighting stream. Alright guys, look for us. I know that Buddy Night Wars is starting back up again on Monday, starting next week. So look for that on John's channel. I'll try to put a link to his channel, so if you guys want to tune in on Mondays at 9 p.m. Central.
It'll be 8 now.
8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. So tune in for that. It's regularly on Mondays, but I think it's starting back up, so I don't know if we call it Season 2 now. Of Buddy Night Wars.
We can go with Season 2.
Support the Buddy Fight News Corner. They're a recommended channel on my sideboard, as well as Just Us League Swag, another channel that I also highly recommend. And of course, me, Zach, you can support me on my channel since you're already watching it. Hit the subscribe button. And as always, guys, I thank you guys for watching.